That's right.
difference in price and what.
The others just
I mean,
didn't
on
get the memo.
the market place thing that you
I
got
missed
online.
it. This, I dropped it.
I would like to call the USD 305 Board to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Madam President, the agenda is as reported.
Thank you. Do I have an approval of the agenda? Motion?
I move for approval of the agenda as printed.
Emma Doherty, second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried 7-0. Moving on to recognitions and presentations. I don't see that we have any this evening. I'm glad to see everybody here, however. Next is approval of consent agenda items. They included minutes of the September 11th, 2018 regular meeting, personnel report, treasurer's report, investment report, journal entries, and approved roofing project bid at South High School to Geisler Roofing and Home Improvement in the amount of $232,146 to replace 56,259 square feet of roofing at South High that was not included in the bond construction project.
Madam President, I'd like to hold that last item for a question. Is that okay?
Okay, we can do that.
All right. If you want me to ask.
Is that all
no,
right
I
with
don't
everyone
care.
else? Okay, Ann?
I move that we approve the consent agenda items A through E.
Second?
Emma Doherty, second.
Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried 7-0. Next, to talk about the approval of the roofing project bid at South High School.
Yeah, this
I
was a
bet you're
question.
on, Chris.
This was a question that I had the other day, and Dr. Hardy didn't know the answer to it at the time, and I thought perhaps, Chris, that you would. I wanted to know how long ago that roof was replaced. How many years has that piece of South's roof been in place?
I don't have the answer to that either.
What?
On me. By the way, we have 1 million square feet of roofing in the school district.
Yes.
Just an interesting number. I do have the age of that roof in my office, and I
Great.
would certainly.
If
submit
you would,
to
if you would send that on,
Yes, absolutely.
enjoyed taking a look at that. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Madam President, I move approval of the Geisler Roofing and Home Improvement bid in the amount of $232,146, whatever.
Whatever it says.
Little Confucius. 232, 140, I can't even say it tonight. Okay, somebody else take
understand.
me.
Is there a second?
Aye.
Thanks.
Jim? We have a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Public forum is at this time. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to come forward, they certainly may do so. I don't see anyone at this time, so we do have on our action agenda, superintendent search firm. Do I have a motion for that?
Madam President, I would move that, that we retain, let's see,
Kansas Association of School Boards, KASB.
yeah. I would move that we approve to work, trying to think of how to read this off of here because I don't know that what we've got, that we retain KASB for the superintendent search and the timeline that they provided. Do we
Okay.
need to include that in the motion since they gave us,
Let's
No.
not include the timeline.
Not include the
You guys will
timeline.
continue to work with that. That was just presented to you.
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Okay. Do I have a second? Ann?
I second the motion.
Any discussion or further questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried, 7-0. At this time, I would just like to mention that about a year and 3 months ago, the school board at that time interviewed and hired Dr. Hardy to be our interim superintendent for 1 year when he was first hired, and he was gracious to do so. But within a month after that, a month or two, it was realized that with him being here and 4 people new on our board, it would be really difficult to be on the board just for 6 months and in the first 3 months begin the process of hiring a new superintendent without the rest of the members of the board having any depth of understanding of a school board. So I begged and pleaded and groveled, and Dr. Hardy said that he would be very happy to help us with this project that we have before us right now. And he does have a loving wife in Wichita, Kansas, and his family is there. And we know that he is definitely dedicated to them and puts them in the #1 spot. And he has been traveling back and forth on weekends, as well as his wife coming here on weekends to see him. And prior to his employment here, he was also the superintendent that was mentoring new superintendents. So I think he would like to get back in the comfort of his own home, in his own town with his wife. And that's why we are doing the superintendent search, opening that up to anyone that would like to apply. So that's why there have been a lot of questions about Dr. Hardy not being our selection to continue, and that is why we're opening it up.
Thank you, Madam President.
So it's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
I think it's no secret that the rest of us feel the same.
Yes,
Right.
correct.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to discussion agenda, we have none. So school board reports and upcoming dates of importance. Upcoming dates of importance are Wednesday, October 3rd, KASB Fall Regional Meeting at McPherson at 5 p.m. Thursday, November 8th, KHESC Legislative Luncheon at 10 a.m., and that's always good and interesting. November 30th through December 2nd is KASB Annual Convention at Overland Park, and I think we have a pretty good turnout for all of those. So I will start with Gary.
No report, really.
Okay. Jim?
Let's see, I had the Head Start Policy Council. During that time, we reviewed the annual report of Head Start. I know that's highlighted in the board packet this time. There were a few things that kind of stuck out to me going through there. I think one of the biggest things was the homeless rate of those children who are tended to at Head Start. I guess I hadn't thought of the homeless piece of that. And when you look through that, the piece of that comes to, it's not necessarily folks who are maybe living in a car or on the street, but folks who are maybe living with another family or extended family that don't have a place to call their own for their family. You know, and that was kind of interesting to me to see that. Also attended the breakfast for, my mind just went blank, Slime Education Foundation. Got to see some of the new things that were going on. That was well reported in the Salina Journal.
Ann?
I also attended the Salina Education Foundation breakfast, and I'm hoping to go visit one of the maker spaces, the one at Oakdale, sometime soon, but I haven't yet. I did stop in to see the Wichita State Future Maker Mobile Learning Lab at the Smoky Hill Education Service Center, and I did a little riveting and a little virtual welding, and I got to take the 3D view from inside the space shuttle, so it was very interesting.
Okay.
Nothing to report.
Emma?
I too attended the Teachers Education Foundation breakfast, and it was very wonderful to see all the things they do, from scholarships to helping the schools and the students, and it was very impressive, so enjoyed that.
Carol?
I too was at that breakfast, and it's always a joy to see the kids. They presented so beautifully, and it was also a joy to watch them eat as they looked at their plates.
Yeah.
Some of them sort of said, "And what is this?" But they're darling. They do so well.
That's all?
That is it.
Okay. I did attend the South Central game where everybody wore pink shirts, and it was a good game for Central, and an entertaining game from Central too. Salina Education Foundation breakfast with Makerspace was great. The elementary students and the middle school students, I think, knew exactly what they were doing, and some of the students really didn't like going to school, and now they were there bright and early for this. So I think the point is being made for kids. I attended Equity Council, which, to be honest, I think that's the most diverse group that I've ever been a part of in a single room in this school district. It's really great to see the diversity that's there, that's going to be making some decisions and recommendations for us. I also attended KESA, which is the Kansas Educational Systems Accreditation, with the district leadership team. They're busy working on the framework for all three venues that are being considered, and that's real interesting because they are at task and excited. So with that, we will move on to the superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. Thank you for bringing up the Equity Council. I feel like we're making really good progress. We're building the capacity of the team, and we're actually getting down to work now. That we're going to put together a survey that we hope to give all of our staff and students probably next semester. So they're really working hard, and our next meeting is in November, and that's a 2-hour meeting that it will be in the thick of putting together that survey. So we're real thankful for the folks that serve on that. I'd like to thank Eric Wiley for attending the Salina Education Foundation breakfast. We had really nice coverage of that. So Eric, thank you for that. The thing that I appreciate about that breakfast, besides the students, I sat with the lift teachers.
I noticed.
And it's always kind of fun to hear what's going on with them in school. Some of them are first-year teachers or second-year teachers, and they're still smiling, and they've got a lot going on. But I keep hearing over and over that as busy as they are, and as many new things that they're dealing with, especially if they're first-year teachers, because there's that learning curve all the way around, they feel so supported. We have so many things here. I was at Lakewood this morning. I was talking to one of our first-year teachers there who's a math teacher, and that's what she said. She said, I've never been have so much support. So that is really nice to know that that's one way we can retain those good folks that we get to come to Salina. The other thing I wanted to touch base with, I think the KESA DLT meeting that we had this week, it's impressive to see all the good things that are going on, and there's a lot of work being done
Yes.
on behalf of our students, but it's real impressive to see how that flows. And then the last thing I want to share with you is that last week I was at a meeting with the Commissioner of Education. He was here in Salina talking to superintendents, and he shared something that was really interesting, and when he said it, the room was really quiet, because we know there's a bit of a teacher shortage, but he said this will be the smallest group of people that will be coming out of college to go into teaching in Kansas. Of all the colleges and universities that are putting out teachers. This would be the smallest that they can recall. What they shared then was that, there's a lot of work going on to figure out other ways for people to get into the profession. The transition to teaching programs are growing. I like the fact that there's a lot of pedagogy involved with that. And then the other thing he lifted up was the para-to-teacher program, which we've started participating in that as well. So we are trying to take advantage of what we can. And we have a lot of local people that are, they want to be teachers, and we want to help them to get there. And then I will share that Commissioner Watson will be here next Tuesday, visiting our district.
Oh, good.
That's all I have to report.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, after superintendent's report, we do need to go into executive session for student matters. Could I have a motion?
Hold on,
Give
let me
us
go
5
on.
minutes to get there. And how long?
Is the first one the, student matters is the first one, so that's 5? 15 for, oh, okay, that's right.
15 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, well, might start with 15.
All right. Madam President, I move that the Board of Education go into executive session at 5:20 for 20 minutes for the purpose of discussing matters relating to actions adversely or favorably affecting a person as a student. Because if this matter were discussed in open session, it might invade the privacy of those discussed, and that the Board of Education reconvene into open session at 20 minutes until 6 in the board conference room.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor, raise your right hand.
Second.
Oh, we don't have a second?
Second.
Second, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0, and we will adjourn for 5 minutes. If you'd like to stay, you may stay in this room for any outcomes.